What's up guys, welcome back to Gripworks. We're on part 2 of the EK Civic build, daily driver semi-restoration type thing. If you guys saw the last episode, you would have seen that I got a lot of the little details taken care of. Engine grounds, the whole wiring harness, pretty much all the hoses. All that we have left is power steering, air conditioning, the clutch line, and the axles. After that, we can loosen up the motor mounts, get the engine hoist in here and pull this guy out. I want to start today with the power steering and AC, because I'm still not sure what I'm going to do there. As I said in the last episode, my original plan was to unbolt the power steering pump and the AC compressor from the engine block and just leave them hanging in there. That way I don't have to crack those systems open, make a mess, and then have to recharge the AC and rebleed the power steering system. So I want to see if I can leave those intact. I'll just remove the belts and I can clean those parts up while they're in the car. After that, I want to move on to the clutch line. Just get that loosened up. And then last but not least, the 2 axles. I will do one further inspection just to make sure I didn't forget anything. And then I'll bring the hoist in here, get it chained up to the motor, and get this thing ready to get pulled out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this AC and power steering system. Alright, so I just got the AC compressor and the power steering pump loose off the motor itself. That wasn't actually too bad. I got most of the belts out. I think what I'm going to do now is the clutch slave cylinder line, and then axles, and then I can pull this thing out. Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, so I pretty much have the engine and transmission ready to get pulled out of the car. I have the AC compressor and power steering pump loose from the engine block. I have the axles out of the car. The clutch slave cylinder line is loose. I can't really think of anything else. I'm gonna do one final inspection of everything in the engine bay, making sure I didn't miss a ground or a vacuum hose or anything, right? And then I'm gonna bring the hoist over here and find 2 solid pickup points, probably one on the trans, one on the engine, and pull the, get a little tension on the motor, and then I'll loosen up all the mounts and then pull the whole thing out as an assembly, set it on the ground, separate the engine from the transmission, build the stand, get the engine on the stand, and that should be it for this video. So I'll take a look around and then I'll bring the hoist over here and start ripping this thing out. car, and it's a couple days later. So the engine's now on a stand, and I was able to take a good look at it. And I recently found out that I might run into some issues soon. And that's mainly having to do with the intake manifold. My original plan was to use the engine from the black car, which is a D16 cylinder head with a D15 bottom end. Mini-me, as a lot of people call it. I decided to go with this D16Y7 that came out of the white car, just because I know it's a reliable motor. The engine in the black car, I don't really know the history about it, but this one I do. I have more faith in this engine. I'm not doing a full rebuild, I'm just doing, like a freshening up. So I might run into some issues with gaskets, throttle body, and harness stuff with the intake manifold, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now, some of you might be wondering why I'm sticking with the D-Series engine, and that's pretty simple. One of the reasons is I live in California, and it's very hard to get away with an engine swap in one of these Hondas, especially because they're known to have engine swaps, so it's pretty easy to get pulled over and state rep, and I don't want to go through all that. The second reason being simplicity. You're putting in what you're taking out, so how hard can it be? And I don't really need all that extra power. I mean, this thing makes 100 horsepower on a good day. This is just a big go-kart to me. It's a fun car, it handles really well, it doesn't need a lot of power. I'm just looking for reliability and simplicity. And the last reason is I still need to get familiar with the EK chassis. I don't want to go and throw a lot of horsepower at a car that I don't know how to control yet. So I want, for the first iteration of this build, I want to stay with the D-Series. I want to keep it simple, legal, and fun. If God forbid something were to happen to this engine, or maybe I change my mind in the future, far down the line, then maybe I'll go with a B-Series, maybe even the K-Series, who knows. But for now, yeah, so I want to go ahead and keep it simple, keep it clean, and I'm going to go ahead and start by tearing this thing down a little further. Alright guys, so if you saw, got the engine torn apart, got it cleaned up. I did struggle a little bit with the crank pulley, but thankfully Lewis came with the right socket to save the day. Got that taken apart, got the whole engine, degreased, power washed, cleaned up. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's not completely clean, but it's clean enough for what I need. It's on a show car. So in the next episode, I'm going to be replacing things like the water pump, timing system, whatever needs to be replaced and getting the whole engine closer to getting reinstalled in the car. Alright guys, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting on this video, and remember, function, momentum, grip.